Hey everyone, my name is Russell Brunson, and I'll welcome you back to episode number 2 in my series from the DotComSecrets Daily Sketch for What Happens in Vegas, part number 2. Now, if you watched the video yesterday, I talked about the first step is how to get leads, and we get leads very, very rapidly. I showed you a way that most people can get leads within an hour to 2 hours, and then get pretty much as many leads as they want, leads that are fresh, that are hot, that are new, that are excited to talk to them, and it's something that you guys should be doing over and over and over again, whatever business you're in, okay? Now, today I'm going to talk about something that's even more exciting for me personally, and it's the funnel, okay? Now, during this funnel, I'm going to show you guys the funnel. We've used it twice so far, actually 3 times so far. Once helped me become an executive in my network marketing company very, very quickly. Once helped me make $1 million net in 90 days. And third one added 7,500 people to my continuity program in just 45 days. So if you want to see all that cool stuff, then let's get started. Okay, now this weekend in Vegas when I spoke about a special sales funnel we've been developing and using over the last few years. It's been second to none. We made a ton of money off it. And the type of sales funnel you've probably heard about recently is called an automated webinar. Now what you may not know is that I actually created the very first automated webinar software platform about three and a half years ago. It was called Live Webinar Replay. We launched it and almost nobody bought it, and it was way before its time. But I was able to use that version of the software clear back in the day with one of my companies I'm in, and I set up an automated webinar. I started driving traffic to it. My team started driving traffic to it, and within a very short time, I became an executive in my company. I had a chance to go up on stage and walk in front of the entire convention. Walked up on stage, got a big trophy and all that kind of stuff, and it was kind of fun. I did it all through an automated webinar before automated webinars, before anyone had even heard about it before. So that's kind of exciting. Now, what's even cooler is since then we've been able to start doing a lot of stuff with automated webinars. About 8 months ago we launched an automated webinar called DotComSecrets Local, and within the first 90 days we netted over $1 million from that one automated webinar. And then about less than 2 months ago we launched our second automated webinar. It was for a continuity program that people paid $97 a month, and within the first 45 days we got over 7,500 members. So some pretty exciting stuff. But what's even more exciting is just how you can use this automated webinar funnel in your network marketing business. Now, before I kind of map it out for you guys, again, this weekend, this Friday, I'm doing a webinar, a live webinar. This is not an automated one. This is actually me live. I'm going to be doing my exact same presentation. The same presentation I did in Vegas that people paid thousands of dollars to be there. I'm going to be doing that webinar live for you guys. You can see this whole thing mapped out in about an hour period of time. I'm going to show you the webinars, the sales process, everything in excruciating detail. Right now I want to kind of show you the process. So this is basically how an automated webinar works. You have a landing page, very similar to landing pages I showed you guys yesterday, but the difference is instead of somebody just becoming a lead and filling out their name, they actually come and they pick a date and a time to register for a webinar. Okay? They pick a date and a time. Same thing, I have a headline up here, I have a bullet points for a video over here, and then they come in and they pick the webinar. Now, what's cool about this, the way I showed you yesterday, basically someone fills out a form and then you call them on the phone and you can get them into your. But what's cool about this process is you can use an automated webinar to pre-sell that person for up to an hour or longer. So they watch this webinar, and for an hour you can indoctrinate them and sell them and teach them the things you want about your product, about your service, about the opportunity. And a lot of people just from watching a live webinar alone are going to purchase. Okay? And the ones who don't, now you can call those people who don't, but they just sat on the webinar for an hour, it means they're interested. And what we found is when we call someone who's been on a webinar, our closing ratio is second to none. It's very easy. Usually they have 1 or 2 questions to answer, and then they're in. So it's a lot easier process to drive them through an automated webinar. So they opt in, they come over here, and then they watch the automated webinar. Now what's cool about the software, and this is the same software I'm going to show you live on this weekend during our webinar, is we can actually filter all of our leads, all of our customers based on a couple things. So all these customers, all these leads are coming in here, they're registering, and then basically there's kind of 4 types of people that come out of this. The first type of person is someone who registered for the webinar, but for whatever reason they didn't show up. Okay, now why would someone not show up for the webinar? Okay, it could be a lot of things. It could be that they just forgot about it. It could be that they wrote down the wrong time, or maybe they just weren't interested, or it could be a million different reasons. So what we do is we set up a whole autoresponder sequence sending out messages to people who register but didn't show up. Now, if they did show up to the webinar, we can set up a whole different sequence for people who showed up. So they showed up, I might have 5 or 6 or 10 different emails I want to send out to that person that basically goes through and sells them on, or not sells them, but yeah, basically tells them why they should buy the product or service. Okay, the third type of people I can segment is people who registered for the webinar and stayed all the way to the end. That means they saw the entire offer, they saw where I sold the product, they saw everything, And then the fourth type of person are people who bought, okay? So what's cool is I can set up sequencing for all of these, but what's even cooler is now this process we just took them through basically takes all of our traffic, all of our leads, and it puts them into a couple different baskets, okay? And this is where it gets exciting. The first basket, these are people who registered for the webinar and they watched the whole thing, but for whatever reason they didn't sign up. Okay, these people become your A leads. These are the best ones. If you can only call a certain amount of people a day, you want to call your A leads. These are your hottest people. Okay, they sat there for an hour watching this webinar. The second ones are people who registered for the webinar. They stayed for a while, but then they left. Those are your B leads. And then the third option are your C leads. These people who registered for the webinar but never showed up. Okay, so now you're not calling every single person in the world. You're just calling people who are most interested. And down here, the fourth type, these are your customers. Okay, and these are the guys you call up and get them to duplicate what you just did. And again, I'm going to talk tomorrow about duplication, and you guys are going to love it. But right now, I just want to show you this is basically the process. Now, if you want to see this process in action in a lot more detail, again, this Friday I'm doing a live webinar with just a small group of people kind of showing this process. So if you're in any kind of network marketing program, you want to see how we use automated webinars to build our teams and to grow them very, very quickly, be on the webinar. I'm going to show you guys some amazing stuff. It's the exact same presentation I gave in Vegas. People went crazy out there. So if you didn't have the money to fly out there and you didn't have the time and all those type of things, you can get my presentation live for free this Friday. So make sure you register. All the information will be down below. Okay, so that's basically step 2 in what happened in Vegas, is understanding the automated webinar process. Now tomorrow I'm going to be talking about duplication. Okay, the biggest problem with network marketing is getting the people you sign up to actually sign up more people and those type of things. I'm going to show you how we're doing duplication right now with our automated webinar platform, and you guys are going to love it. Okay, so make sure you show up tomorrow. I'm going to show you what happens in Vegas, part 3. My name is Russell Brunson. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.